Hi there. It's July 26th and time for Proverbs 26. We are still in the Solomon's Proverbs that the King Hezekiah's men copied down for him to contemplate on. So let's do that. Like snow in summer or rain in harvest, honor is inappropriate for a fool. Talks a lot about fools in Proverbs. Like a flitting arrow or a fluttering swallow, an undeserved curse goes nowhere. Right? Now that's people were about, oh no, I've been cursed. Right? And an undeserved curse goes nowhere. Somebody on the street, oh no, no, no. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Okay. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the backs of fools. More talking about fools. Okay. Now these two verses right here, we're going to dive into these. They've always been, it's contradiction if you read them directly. Verse 4 says, don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll be like him yourself. And then verse 5 seems to contradict that. Answer a fool according to his foolishness, or he'll become wise in his own eyes. So, and I looked on these, and these come up every month because it contradicts itself. So there you go. So we're going to go over to, there's a site called gotquestions.org, and it answers everything, and it's a biblical site. Biblical answers to your questions. And this talks about 4 and 5, okay? And we're going to read this short thing right here to explain it. Okay, make that bigger. Let's see. There you go. Proverbs has much to say about fools, which we just talked about. They despise wisdom. They're right in their own eyes. They're deceitful. They're scornful. The wise are also given instruction on how to deal with fools in Proverbs. Instructing a fool is pointless because his speech is full of foolishness, right? And he does not want wisdom and understanding, right? He doesn't. He just wants attention, right? The futility of trying to impart wisdom to a fool is the basis of Proverbs 26, 4 and 5, which tell us how to answer a fool. These seemingly contradictory verses are actually a common form of parallelism found in the Old Testament, where one idea builds upon another. Verse 4 warns against arguing with a fool on his own terms, right? Lest we stoop to his level and become as foolish as he is. Because he despises wisdom and correction, the fool will not listen to wise reason and will try to draw us into his type of argument, whether it is by using deceit, scoffing at our wisdom, becoming angry and abusive. You're just a racist, right? If we allow him to draw us into this type of discourse, we are answering him according to his folly, right? In the sense of becoming like him, right? The phrase according to his folly in verse 5, on the other hand, tells us that there are times when a fool has to be addressed so that his foolishness will not go unchallenged. In this sense, answering him according to his folly means to expose the foolishness of his words, rebuking him on the basis of his folly so he will see the idiocy of his words and reasoning. Our answer in this case has to be one of reproof, showing him the truth so that he might see the foolishness of his words in the light of reason. Even though he will most likely despise and reject the wisdom offered to him, we're to make an attempt, for both the sake of the truth, which is always to be declared, and for the sake of those listening, that they may see the difference between wisdom and folly and be instructed, for those other people around, right? Whether we use the principle of verse 4 to deal with a fool by ignoring him, or obey verse 5 and reprove a fool, depends on the situation. In matters of significance, it's probably better to disregard him. In more important areas, such as when a fool denies the existence of God, verse 5 tells us to respond to his foolishness in words of rebuke and instruction. To let a fool speak his nonsense without reproof encourages him to remain wise in his own eyes and possibly gives credibility to his folly in the eyes of others. In short, negligible issues we should ignore. In negligible issues we should just ignore fools. But in issues that matter, they must be dealt with so that credence will not be given to what they say, right? So, depending on what they're saying, if they're stupid, you're better off just ignoring them, just walking away, okay? I mean, there are so many people out today protesting on stuff that they know nothing about. They're just foolishness, okay? They're protesting, and many of them are paid, okay? So you're not going to be able to tell them anyways because they're paid actors. You know, if you see a group of people and they all have these pre-printed signs, you know, it's not just a group of people that got, hey, we don't agree with this. Yeah, let's do this. That's not. They're being paid. Okay. How about that? So you're better off not answering them. You know, if they're saying something overwhelmingly stupid that will hurt the other people around them listening, you can answer them with truth and a rebuke. Sometimes sarcasm works, okay? You know, I heard when somebody denied the existence of God, he says, so what do you believe in? I believe in nothing. Okay, so you believe nothing created everything, and I believe something created everything. So there we differ. Okay? Things don't create themselves. Nothing grows together, everything grows apart. Okay? And you're saying it more for the people around them that will realize this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, you know. So, yeah. Sometimes sarcasm, but most of the time you just want to ignore them. Okay? But if they're saying something overwhelmingly stupid that'll hurt others, you need to correct them for the sake of the others, because he's not going to listen. He's going to call you names. But other people around will say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and will walk away. Okay? So, there you go. Verse 6. The one who sends a message by a fool's hand cuts off his own feet and drinks violence. Right. Never send an idiot to do a job. Okay. 7. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is like lame legs that hang limp. Fools again. Giving honor to a fool is like binding a stone in a sling. Right, okay? If you bind a stone in a sling, it's never going to fire. The stone bound in a sling will not release and could harm the person using the sling. A modern equivalent is jamming a cork in a gun barrel. Right, there you go. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is like a stick with thorns, brandished by the hand of a drunkard. Right. The one who hires a fool or hires those passing by is like an archer who wounds everyone, randomly shooting everywhere. Okay. There's a lot of this going on now, hiring fools or people who pass by, just not because they can do the job, just because they happen to be there. Right? 11. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats his foolishness. Right. Do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. This is important. Now, wise in your own eyes is that you won't listen to anybody. You know it all. You're the smartest. You're bragging, and you're going to let everybody know that you know it all. You're wise in your own eyes. That's the worst way to be. That is the opposite of being humble. And the whole premise of all of Proverbs is to be humble and know when to keep your mouth shut. Okay? So, and we know fools are absolutely hopeless people that will never learn anything. 13, the slacker says, there's a lion in the road, there's a lion in the public square. And we read this in all other parts of Proverbs where Solomon actually said it, and Hezekiah's man copied it. Excuses. Okay, a lazy person will use any excuse. I don't want to go out there and make it hurt. As a door turns on its hinges and a slacker on his bed. A door turns on its hinges and a slacker on his bed, right? Never go anywhere. Doesn't ever go anywhere, okay? The slacker buries his hand in the bowl. He's too worried to bring him to his mouth. You ever know somebody that lazy? In his own eyes, a slacker is wiser than 7 men who can answer sensibly, right? This is all about lazy people. There's plenty of them out there, okay? Sitting on computers in their mother's basement, arguing with people, like it says in verse 4. 17, a person who is passing by and meddles in a quarrel that's not his is like one who grabs a dog by the ears. Like that. If you see people fighting and it's not your business, if somebody's weak, if somebody's beating on a woman, that's totally different. But if there's two guys arguing, two fools arguing with each other, you step in the middle of that, you're going to get hurt, okay? You just leave it alone. Okay? Or like everybody does now, just grab your phone and record it, right? 18, like a madman who throws flaming darts and deadly arrows, so is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. This is very important. We're going to make that yellow. Like a madman who throws flaming darts, somebody shooting randomly into a crowd, right? Not caring who they hurt. So is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. If you say something to a neighbor or a friend or a brother to try and get a laugh out of somebody else that hurts that person, I was just kidding, dude. Those words don't go away, okay? Those words don't go away. You're going to hurt somebody by that. Never say anything that you don't mean. You cannot take words back once they're spoken. Okay? Especially nowadays on the internet, they will be there forever. Okay? A lot of these politicians are getting caught saying, I believe in such and such, when there's a recording of them, years ago, and it's on the internet, saying exactly the opposite. Okay? Don't use words to joke or tease or hurt somebody. Okay? I never liked these, a famous one was Don Rickles. Okay, he's gone now, so we can talk about him. His whole premise of his comedy was to tear other people down. Okay? Look at that idiot. And people would laugh at this person's expense. Those kind of words hurt. I never found that funny. God doesn't find that funny when you're tearing down something that he created in his image. So, yeah, can you tell him I really don't like that? Let's move on. 20, without wood, fire goes out. Without a gossip, conflict dies down. Right? Let it end with you. Okay? The thing that keeps gossip going is people keep talking about it. Okay? Don't be the one that spreads gossip. God hates gossip because it tears apart families, it tears apart congregations, it tears apart churches. Okay? And it all starts with somebody seeking who they thought was a friend for help. Okay, I need help in this. I'm having this problem. Can you pray for me? Please don't tell anybody. But then you go, oh, so-and-so needs prayer. He's doing such and such. And pretty soon it's all over the church, and it gets back to this person. And this person knows, I only told one person in confidence, and now everybody in the church knows it. And I'm being ridiculed. Okay? One person, a gossip, just tore apart an entire church and lost a friend forever. Okay? Yeah, gossip is another big thing I don't like. 21. As charcoal for embers and wood for fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. Right. Goes along with the one above it, huh? A gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. Okay? This all goes together. We'll just put all this together. Gossip is a drug. People love to hear other people's problems because it makes their problems seem less important. Okay? And if you buy into that drug, gossip is a huge thing. It's a billion-dollar industry. People just telling other people's secrets and woes and problems that have nothing to do with you. People eat that up. It gets down into here and they gotta have more gossip. Okay? You gotta get off that drug. Gossip is a huge issue with me. It's a huge issue with God, too. Mm-hmm. 23. Smooth lips with an evil heart are like glaze on an earthen vessel. Right? Something popped in my head, but I'm not going to say it. Okay. You know, if you sprinkle sugar on dirt, it looks good, but it's still dirt. It's still dirt. Fill in the blank. Right? Smooth lips with an evil heart. Burning lips with an evil heart. Right? 24. A hateful person disguises himself with his speech and harbors deceit within. Right? There are lots of people like that. They're sweet talking. Goes like this. Smooth lips with an evil heart are like glaze on an earthen vessel. A hateful person disguises himself with his speech and harbors deceit within. Just like this. Glaze on an earthen vessel. Putting sugar on dirt. Right? When he speaks graciously, don't believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is concealed by deception, his evil will be revealed in the assembly. Right? Now this all goes together. Boom. See that? All goes together. You can probably think of any number of politicians that this describes. Politician at some point cares more about himself than the people he is supposed to be representing. So he'll build up himself, he gets off on the power, and this whole thing. Smooth lips with an evil heart is like glaze on an earthen vessel. A hateful person disguises himself with his speech and harbors deceit within. When he speaks graciously, don't believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is concealed by deception, his evil will be revealed in the assembly. Okay? It all comes out. Okay, 27. The one who digs a pit will fall into it, and whoever rolls a stone, it will come back on him. Like that. And 28. A lying tongue hates those it crushes, and a flattering mouth causes ruin. Right. There's 26. A lot of stuff. We went into some major detail on this one today. So we'll just read our highlights real quick. Right. Like a flying sparrow or a fluttering swallow, an undeserved curse goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. Just people on the street saying just because you might be wearing the wrong clothes or the wrong hat, and they curse you, it's not going anywhere. Okay. And 4 and 5, we went into that in incredible detail. Okay. Don't answer a fool according to his foolishness, or you'll be like him yourself. Don't get on his level. Okay. Answer a fool according to his foolishness, or he'll become wise in his own eyes. You have to combat them with absolute truth. Okay. To make them look stupid. Or they'll think they are. See, I know it all. And you can go back and listen to the whole explanation. Okay? And 12, do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Okay? A lot of people are using this one verse now. You see it printed and on memes and on the internet. Okay? People who think they know it all. You highlighted 17. A person who is passing by and meddles in a quarrel that's not his is like one who grabs a dog by the ears. You're going to get bitten, right? Stay out of. If it's not your business, mind your own business. Just stay out of other people's business. Okay? Like a madman who throws flaming darts and deadly arrows, so is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, I was only joking. And we went into this on detail too. Words hurt. Words never go away. You can't unsay something that you've said out loud. Don't say it at all. Okay? You're not joking. You're not getting a laugh. You're getting a laugh at somebody else's expense. And that person is going to be hurt. And they will remember those words forever. They will never go away. So don't do it. Okay? And these all go together. Without fire, wood goes out. Without a gossip, conflict dies down. As charcoal for embers and wood for fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife or gossip. A gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. Gossip is a terrible, terrible thing. It tears apart churches, it tears apart families, it tears apart countries, it tears apart friends. You can stop it. Without fire, wood goes out. If you're in that chain, did you hear that so-and-so did to so-and-so? I don't want to, unless that person tells me himself and asks for prayer. I don't want to hear it. It stops with me, okay? Just like that. This gossip on TV, if nobody watched it, they would stop, okay? Because they don't have an audience. As soon as there's no audience, without wood, the fire goes out. Without a gossip, conflict dies down. Be the one that stops it. Let it stop with you. Okay? And this whole 23 through 26 goes together. And there are people like this. Smooth lips with an evil heart are like glaze on an earthen vessel. Like you put glaze on cheap clay and it looks pretty, but it's just cheap clay inside. A hateful person disguises himself with a speech and harbors deceit within. Right? When he speaks graciously, don't believe him, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred is concealed by deception, his evil will be revealed in the assembly. Sooner or later, these people are all found out, right? They're all found out. So, that's Proverbs 27. A lot of stuff in there, huh? A lot of stuff in there. Yeah. And most of this stuff was said by Solomon in the first 24 chapters, and it's the stuff that's being reiterated by men that studied Solomon, okay? And it's cool. So, later on today, we will be doing more Isaiah. Another, I think, 4 or 5 chapters in Isaiah today. And we're looking for Jesus. He talks about Jesus in the end times a lot, okay? A lot of stuff Isaiah said still hasn't happened yet, but it will. Because the stuff that he did talk about that happened, he was right. Absolutely 100% of the time. He was a true prophet. A true prophet will never be wrong, okay? And the stuff that's come to pass so far, Isaiah was right 100% of the time in every single detail. So it's important. Isaiah is an important book to study. And we're just reading through it. We're not tearing it apart because we're reading through the entire Bible in a year. And we're on day 208 right now. Done it 208 days in a row, and we're going to keep going until we get to 365 and do the whole Bible. So there you have it. Give us a like if you think about it. Tell your friends about this. I hope it does some good. So remember, be humble. Don't speak unless you have to. See you later.